What is going on, everyone? It's the final week of the NFL season, the Super Bowl. My name is Brady. This is Josh. We're back to break this fucker down. Here we are, Super Bowl, as I call it, Super Bowl lick my balls. Um, well, here we go. The Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. We're gonna do a little switch up here, and I'm gonna let Josh bust down this thing. But I did want to say before I turn it over to him, uh, please hit the like and subscribe. This is your last chance to get a hold of us before the season stops. So you're going to have to probably search around next year when it rolls back around if you're only paying attention to the football. So hit the like and subscribe. Give us a comment below. Let us know who you're picking in this game. Give us some interaction here. And I'm going to just pop it right on over to Josh and let him bust into this Super Bowl licks.
Licks, I like that. I didn't even notice that. Nice. What is up, party people? It is Super Bowl time. Yeah, not the game everybody wanted, but here at Be All In, we take it as it comes. So let's just do what we can with what we have. Okay. The Super Bowl licks, that's great, Brady. Yep, did not even really realize that. Again, that's so funny. I've been going back and forth in this game past, almost 2 weeks now. Still can't decide. I mean, I got my pick, but there's so many factors in this game. Both teams, have won 17 games, playoffs included. Chiefs 17-2, Eagles 17-3. I've got numbers out the yin yang that I can throw at you that matter. Some don't matter. Eagles are 5-0 on artificial turf this year, if that means anything for you.
Also, you got to keep in mind Mahomes, 15-0 in domes in his career?
Yeah. Yep. There's that. Then you have, let's see, I think teams that are rematches of Super Bowls within 5 years, the teams that won are 4-0, which is not good for the Eagles. And then, of course, you have the Chiefs who just find ways to win all the time, no matter what, because of coaching, players, Mahomes, refs, whatever you want to fucking say. They just figure out a way to pull out their ass. But all my years of watching football, listening to pundits and players and whatever they say, they have all said the most important thing in football is in the trenches. The games are won and lost in the trenches. And to me, that favors the Eagles on both sides of the ball. Eagles have the best offensive line in the league. Jurgensen, their center, is coming back. That's huge. I mean, they ran all over the Commanders without him, and the Packers without him. So him coming back is a huge, huge boost for the offensive line. Makes everything better. They were still good without him. And then you go to the Chiefs offensive line, and they're not very good. Tune is a right guard. He's playing left tackle out of necessity. That's not good. The Eagles have a very strong defensive line, probably one of the best in the league, and so do the Chiefs. Their defensive line is legit too, but they've been getting run on a lot. If the Bills would have stuck with the run a little more and given James Cook a little more of those outside runs, I don't know why they didn't do that more of that, especially, honestly, I was going to say the second half, but throughout the whole game. He had a 60% success rate, which would have been number one in the entire NFL for the whole entire year for any game. And the Bills just didn't stick to it. You got to do what's working. Look what the Ravens did to the Steelers in the playoffs. They had a drive where they ran the ball 13 times in a row. Why? Because the Steelers weren't stopping it. So the Bills coaching let them down. They were dumb. Run it. The Eagles are not going to make that mistake because they also have Saquon Barkley. Cook is a good running back. He's way above average. Saquon Barkley is great. He's on a whole different level. He's going to break the all-time record for rushing yards in the season, playoffs included. He needs 30 yards to do it. So I said, when in the Bills video, if you guys watched that, I said, don't bet against greatness, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are greatness. I also think Saquon Barkley is greatness in his own right. Yeah, he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but he has taken this Eagles offense to a different level, and I don't think the Chiefs can stop them. They've been hemorrhaging running back yards the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. That does not bode well for them. Spagnuolo is a great D coordinator. He'll figure something out. I don't think Saquon gets 150 or 200 yards, but he's not going to need to get that for them to win. Just pound the rock, get him his 125 yards, and I see the Eagles pulling this out. I don't even know it's going to be that close. They might win by 10 points because last time they played, they lost 38-35 on a last-second field goal. Well, with 30 seconds left, whatever. But the Eagles made it to the game and didn't have Saquon. They had a hodgepodge of running backs that they made it work and kept the game close and could have won. To me, Saquon is worth at least 4 more points, if not 7 points, that the Eagles can more points they can score. And Eagles have a stout defense. Yes, they have Mahomes is going to make plays. It's going to happen. But in the overall picture, their defense is going to make enough plays against Mahomes, to me, to make this game to turn it into the Eagles' favor. That's what I think. And then Saquon's going to, I think he's going to bust another long one. I don't know if he scored a 60-yard touchdown, but what his average touchdown yardage is this year, Brady?
20?
32.
Damn.
His average touchdown comes from 32 yards out. Nobody can stop that. Saquon's on a mission, a huge mission. And again, there's stats that, go against the Eagles, stats that go for the Chiefs in both ways. Like you said, Mahomes is 15-0 in the dome. I just think the Eagles have what it takes this time around. They almost did it last time. This time they have Saquon. And they have the experience of losing, which is definitely going to make them more motivated. The one thing I did read is there's like 5 or 6 guys on the Eagles that have fallen ill this week. They're going to downplay that and say it's not going to be a big issue. Like Jalen Carter was a big one. He missed his press conference today, but he did practice in full. But we all know that when a team gets sick, it can go throughout the whole team, and then they're not at 100%. They're going to have to be at 100% still to beat the Chiefs. But I still think they have enough, and I love their money line and their spread. I mean, it's good odds. It's going to be a close game. I just think that the Eagles are going to find a way to pull it off because they have Saquon Barkley and they have better offensive and defensive lines than the Chiefs have. That's where the game's won and lost. However, the Chiefs do have the better coach, in my opinion. But Sirianni is not bad. He hasn't won yet, kind of like a Sean McVay thing. The Eagles have been a very competitive team, solid team for the past 3-4 years under him. We won a Super Bowl, in 2017, 2018. So, yeah. I think the Eagles pull us out. Another thing real quick, too, is the Chiefs have only scored 30 points one time this year. That was against the Bills. So they're going to have to get to 30 points against the Eagles. I don't think the Chiefs defense can hold the Eagles under 30 points. And I don't think the Chiefs can get there against the Eagles. So I say fly, Eagles, fly, fuckers.
I hate even saying that.
Oh, dude, I just threw up my mouth saying it. Trust me. I just threw up my mouth saying it. It sucks, but I think that's the way it goes.
Yeah, this to me, even though I don't have an interest in this one at all. I'm not a complete hater. I think that these teams both have good players, not faulty, like Saquon. Yes, I love watching the guy run. Mahomes pulls out some amazing stuff as well. They're fun to watch. I don't have a rooting interest here, and nobody. I think when you look at it from the beginning, the Chiefs have kind of taken over that Patriots role, only minus the cheating, which I'm going to commend them for that. Like, I don't mind a team if they're just that good and you win that much. Okay, like you did it. Great. It always pissed you off when it was surrounding the Patriots because you always heard of the cheating allegations, and it was like every single time. And most of the time they're beating my teams that to get there, we're doing something illegal to get there. And then, so you got to hold a grudge against stuff like that. But straight up, you don't hear about that from the Chiefs. I respect Andy Reid a great deal. I think he's a great coach. It is crazy that he's going back against his former team again in the Super Bowl, which I think that's, I don't know how many times that's actually happened in history to where a former coach actually plays his former team in the Super Bowl twice. That would be interesting for me to look up. I didn't even think of it until right now, but
me either. I didn't think of it.
This game, to me, it falls right in the middle. Both teams have proven throughout the season they can win. They can win in different ways. When I look at this game, just pros and cons of it, breaking it down without any biases and trying to just say, okay, in the beginning, you have this little, okay, well, they're not going to do this. They're not going to do this. And I've been saying for a long time that the Chiefs would not win this year. And then, but you got to put all that aside and just look at the numbers. And the things that I'm looking at and I'm seeing are, one, just as you said, how are the Chiefs going to stop this run game? That is the one thing the Chiefs throughout the season, they gave up about 149, I think it was 100 and something yards per game on the ground.
Well, it was real quick to your point. They were top 5 during the season, like 104, 105 yards a game. But the last 5 weeks, they've been getting annihilated.
Yeah, I did see in the playoffs. It's changed. So how are you going to hold up in the playoffs once you're facing the top running offense in the league? And then you also look back at past years, and we've argued about this in the past because I always wanted, when it was Denver in the playoffs and Peyton Manning was the quarterback, obviously I love watching him and follow him. So I'm going to be rooting for him and thinking to myself, this is an unstoppable offense. I don't care what kind of defense it is. And then they went out and just got crushed. It was, you know what I mean? It's one of those type things to where maybe we'll see something like that, to where the defense is just so good. And now you see after this game, it's like, damn, okay, a top-notch defense. The top defense, once again, beats not even the top offense in the league right now. We're not talking about 1 against 1 here. We're talking about number 1 against top 5. What, top 3, top 4? They like you said, you're talking about a team that was winning by shutting teams down on defense, or at least part of the way, bend but don't break, and then outscoring them on the other side, or getting those big moments. How many big moments can you have in a season? And right now, you've got a lot of stuff that I usually bet against playing against you. I don't like the fact when you tell me all these streaks like, oh, Mahomes has never lost indoors, then guess what? I'm thinking to myself, he's fucking due. That's all in my head.
The Eagles are 4-0 on artificial turf this year. Or 5-0. Sorry, 5-0. Okay, well, something's got to give.
It's no different when I see a basketball player in the NBA that scores 5 straight games of 30 points or more, and then their line goes to 29.5. And I keep thinking to myself, 5 straight games of 30 or more points is not an easy fucking thing to do in the NBA, even because you got to consider all the stuff that can happen. So in this particular game, if we're going just on stats, not taking into the account the like factors that could happen, any injuries that could take place, or
Right.
I mean, look at it this way: if Mahomes goes down, the Kansas City Chiefs lose the game pretty much automatically.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think
handily,
I don't think Wentz comes in and wins the game.
No.
If Hurts goes down, Kansas City is going to romp the Eagles. It's plain and simple. Because so here's the way I look at this: Kansas City is going to have to know that they have to stop the run. So in this particular instance, just like I said with the last game, the Eagles are going to have to play top-notch football all the way through. The defense is going to have to be clicking, and it does worry me about the flu that's been basically going around. If that is going around your locker room, that's a problem. That could be a definite problem, but you got to think that they're going to do whatever they have to do to get ready. You still have some time. You still got some healing to do. You can rest up for the next 3 or 4 days. We'll see how it goes. You got to think that stuff is going to be fine by the time you get there. As long as you have your major key components out there on the field, I think it should be a good game. I don't necessarily think it's going to go just the way everybody thinks it's going to go. I don't necessarily think that Saquon is going to be the end-all be-all. I think he's going to have a good game, but I don't necessarily think he has to have the greatest game in order for them to win this, because if the Kansas City Chiefs come out even a little flat against this offense, then it could possibly hamper them for quite some time. And if you let the Eagles then – because we know the Eagles are going to try and pound the football. They should at first. That's what I would think, is try and just run it down your throat, wear down clock. And the Chiefs, on the other hand, we're going to see how they go about this. The Eagles defense is going to be the one that you're going to have to factor in. And it's the Chiefs offense. It is defense versus offense here, because on the offensive side of the Eagles, I think they're good. And their running game can get it done. To me, can your passing game supplement the running game enough to make them afraid of the passing game? Because Jalen Hurts has to make you fear the pass, and then it's going to open up the run. In this one, because I think Kansas City's going to know, you have to come out knowing we got to stop Saquon first. Let's see how we do against him. If we shut him down early and force mistakes from Hurts, then you have to think the rest of the game could be easy, because you've almost systematically – if you get a mistake early from Hurts and you can score or get up 10-0, say, you've almost taken away part of the game plan. If you get up 17-0, you've taken away their entire game plan. Now they have to kind of scramble, get some points on the board, and then that's going to be the main objective. Take Saquon out of the game. So that you have to think on the Kansas City side, Patrick's going to come out bombing the ball. The Eagles side, Saquon's going to come out and try and run it down your throat. The first series, so that line is going to be pumped up, and we're going to see right from the get-go, whoever wins those first beginning drives, to me, that's going to be your tone setter for the entire game. Kansas City comes out and throws a touchdown immediately, and the Eagles don't come back with it right then, and Kansas City goes up 14-0. I think we can predict how this game's going to end up going. Kansas City, because they're not even a first half team. And if they do that to you in the beginning, they can all they got to do is just do the same exact thing in the end. It'll be like a Tom Brady beatdown. So, but trying to get back to it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I was going to say, I mean, the Chiefs' number one goal is going to be what every team's goal is make them one-dimensional. Make Jalen Hurts be the one to beat you. And Spags is going to have some tricks up his sleeve. Of course, he's one of the best defensive coordinators, arguably ever, they are saying now. I mean, he's got the track record to prove it. But the one thing with the Eagles is, even though you know it's coming, and even when they put 8 guys in the box, you still can't stop it, because their offensive line is so good. So they know what's coming. They know it's going to be Saquon Barkley to the left, and he's busting 60-yarders left and right like it's nothing. So I don't know if the Chiefs have the linebacker personnel to stop that. And on the flip side, The Eagles are getting Zach Bond back, who's their stud linebacker, who's going to be tasked with shutting down Kelsey. And he hasn't played since week 18. So, yeah, the Eagles have been weak against tight ends. So the Chiefs. But with Bond coming back, it gives them more of a fighting chance to shut down the Chiefs' offense that much more. But, yeah, make the Eagles one-dimensional. They're going to try, but can you succeed? Nobody has, because they're just that good at what they do. So I don't see how the Chiefs can actually do it. And Hurts can still make plays, man. I mean, yeah, he's not the most efficient passer, but he has pretty good stats when he does throw. I mean, they went through a lull where he was, barely throwing for 200 yards. I get it. He actually threw for more than 200 yards in all but 4 games, and they're still fucking 14-3, or 17-3, including playoffs. So it's still working.
I mean, you got to take into account he wasn't even that healthy. Supposedly, I didn't think he was going to be as healthy as he looked the last game. So another 2 weeks off. He didn't get clipped in the last game. It's just going to be a more healing, and that they got many therapists and people that need to see him rubbing him down like a,
Hey, he's not Deshaun Watson, man. Not a massage therapist.
No, I'm saying you were ahead of me there. You got me. No, I was just like he's got like a team of people that are working on him day and night, just like Mahomes did when he hurt his ankle. And it was, then you found out later, it's like, oh yeah, he had therapy going pretty much 24/7, 5 times a day, going, just people coming in and out doing different things. So that he's going to be healed up. But back to this, I'll finish off this. What I think it boils down to kind of where what you're thinking. And I think this one is across the board. Like I said, both teams have equal threats on both sides. And if the Chiefs do it, congratulations. That's awesome. You won 3. I won't say anything. That's cool. But this is the things that I usually will bet against, okay, is a continual streak of wins in one play. Like, I don't trust that kind of stuff. Like, don't tell me, if you tell me that they're 15-0 indoors, then like I said, that to me screams out bet against that. That is because you may go 16, maybe. And then when you tell me that this is Andy Reid's second time facing the same team in the Super Bowl and he already beat him once, that's another thing that I don't like stuff like that. I'll bet against that. And then when you give me a plus 100 money line on a team that I feel has a clear path to victory by running the ball on a defense that's going to be what we see. Can they stop the run? This is proven to be the best running game there is. Jalen Hurts, I will say this, I do not think for a minute that he is anywhere close to the quarterback on the other side of the field. So, but I think in certain circumstances, when you've got a player who is driven and who is living for that moment, and this is his moment again, and a lot of players do not get 2 moments like this where you can come back and get revenge on a team that beat you by 3 points in a previous Super Bowl and relive it. And he's getting the opportunity to relive it. So either we're going to see history with them getting the 3-peat, or we're going to see Jalen Hurts step into the realm of championship caliber quarterbacks. And on my take, I think it's going to be probably the last time we see him getting a Super Bowl. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes, on the other hand, you probably will see him close to or in it again, obviously. I don't know. I think he's a great enough quarterback he can work with probably anybody. And as long as you have people that are around him that can propel his game, he'll continue to be a winning quarterback no matter where he goes. He's going to be that successful. So but my pick in this game, I'm not going to stop now. I've been saying it all year long. I don't think a 3-peat happens. Maybe I'm wrong. I might eat my words, but I think the Eagles can get this done. and I think they will end up winning this game. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Eagles. A safe bet is the +1.5 spread, but if you want to go that +100 money line, it's probably, I would think that it's going to be a pick 'em when it rolls right around. That's just what I don't think anybody's going to be able to, just for what we're saying right now. There's too many equal factors on each side. Both of these teams, I didn't think this would happen, to be quite honest with you. This is the greatest side. This is the best that ended up being the best almost record on the NFC, and it was the best record on the AFC. So,
well, wasn't the best record in the NFC, was close enough.
I said almost.
Okay.
You're basically getting almost best against best here.
Let's look at this real quick too, because I want to see. I should have looked this earlier, but I just thought of it. So I want to see, because last year against the Niners, it was kind of the same thing. I mean, McCaffrey had 22 carries for 80 yards. McCaffrey and Saquon, they're pretty interchangeable. They're pretty. You're not going to get an argue out of me if you say McCaffrey's better than Saquon or vice versa. I think Saquon's better, but they're pretty close. So he had 80 yards.
At this moment in time, I think, well, he was pretty deadly at that moment in time too, but I think that Saquon, I think he's on it. I think he is probably on a little bit different level as far I think it's the size that really propels me on this one.
I agree with that. Yeah. So he had 80 yards rushing and 80 yards receiving last game in the last Super Bowl. McCaffrey did. He had 8 catches for 80 yards and 22 carries for 80. So he touched the ball 30 times. To me, if you give Saquon,
that's interesting because, I was looking, you can get good numbers for Saquon one catch.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know.
So to me, I'm thinking, how does he not factor into a passing attack in this offense, right?
And he hasn't at all, because he hasn't had to. That's why. He hasn't had to, because he's been busting 60-yard runs. So
it's not like he hasn't during the season, though. And there's more difficult games and more, the tougher contest. He definitely is catching passes. That's not something. I was looking at that because, I'm trying to put together a little my way, whatever that I always do. And right now, actually, let me just pull this off and we'll get the, no, I said remove.
Yeah.
We'll get that side by side here. I was putting this in earlier and this is just, I started writing out what Mahomes has done in the playoffs to this point, and I didn't go all the way back. I think I went back most of his career. A good portion of games, over 10 games. And in those games, he's only not thrown for 200 yards 3 times out of the
Mahomes?
12 times that I wrote down. Yeah. Out of the 12, out of the last 12 playoff games that I wrote down, he has not gone under 200 but 3 times. And of those games, it was 177, 182, and 195. So it's one of those, I could play it safe and put in a Mahomes.
Those are probably all outdoor butt-ass cold games too, not indoors.
Well, some of them are indoors, obviously, but those are probably the ones that are a little bit higher.
No, I'm saying the ones that he didn't hit 200 yards. They were probably outdoor games in I can tell you right now, last year against Miami, when it was -6 temperature and -25 wind chill, he didn't throw for 200 yards then.
True.
So I see your point, though. So 200 yards is a good starting point. He gets that shit. I would use that all day long.
That's what I think. So we'll get into more kind of the player props, because I know that you're doing underdog stuff. You got some stuff planned. So what I've started with here is Patrick Mahomes 200 yards passing, which I'm even thinking I could bump that up possibly to, even if I wanted to go 210 yards
That's
passing.
safe.
Hopkins, you can't tell me that DeAndre Hopkins is not going to catch one pass.
Hey, he should catch one
What?
pass. He should catch one
It's
pass.
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's Super Bowl. And it's probably going to be his last game. If they win, D-Hop probably retires. He's 33 years old. 32,
Exactly.
whatever.
You can't tell me that they're gonna
played
send
12
him
years.
out with catching no passes.
There ain't no way.
You know,
And
no way.
To that point, they're going to have to throw. Because the Chiefs, that's another thing in my breakdown I didn't really touch on too much. The Chiefs can't run the ball. Pacheco's come off a broken leg, so he's still not fully healed. So using Kareem Hunt more. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher since week 9, and that was Kareem Hunt, and that was in overtime against the Buccaneers. So Mahomes is going to throw the ball 40 times. Guaranteed. It's going to be 40 times unless something dumb happens where Barkley fumbles like Thurman Thomas did or like McCaffrey did last year. Honestly, the Chiefs win that Super Bowl because what did McCaffrey do? He fucking fumbled. And the Chiefs got it, and they scored a touchdown.
Speaking of streaks and shit that you like, remember when I'm just on the other right before this, I was telling you I don't like betting on streaks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
well,
right.
I can tell you I probably would have lost a buttload of money on the Bills back in the day. I mean,
yeah. Hey, check your phone.
Because I guarantee you on number 3, I would have been like, I'll bet the mortgage.
Yeah, right.
There's no way.
Yeah, no shit.
There's
There's
no
no
fucking
way.
way.
There's no way. Hey,
Can't possibly do that shit.
I think I heard your phone buzz. It's interrupting our video.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me I'm gonna talk about some of these bets, and we'll get more into this parlay here coming up. All right, so we are back talking parlays. Obviously, this is gonna go one of two ways. I have a really good night on Saturday night. I have more money to bet due to the fights, or I have a really bad night on Saturday night, get really pissed off, and then
Hopefully
it continues on into Sunday, and I don't want to bet at all. But my plan is to do some, like, come on real quick and give you some live betting, or possibly during the day, just come on, throw it up real quick. But we were discussing some, things that we like in these games. There's some things that obviously, if you don't feel comfortable picking a side in this, which it is a very, very questionable game. It can go either way, but either team has methods to win. Either team can fall flat. Either team can just completely come out and waste their opportunity. That's kind of the way football goes. But I did put in one parlay so far that I like it. I did show Josh earlier. We kind of talked about it, and we're both liking this parlay. It is on the FanDuel because I have the availability, which Josh doesn't right now, to do FanDuel. But this is on FanDuel under the Your Way section. You can make up your own numbers. Look, this is one of these parlays that I got you a little over double your money. So you can put it in for, I've got 2 units on it, which the units are $25 right now for the Super Bowl, what we're doing, unless I decide to up that. So right now we're going 2 units on this particular parlay. Again, parlays are always risky. It seems like you get pretty much all of them except one, and it could be the easiest piece that you thought was a no-brainer, and it just doesn't hit. But here's what I'm going with for my way parlay. I've got Mahomes 200 passing yards. I think this is something that he's done in, I was telling Josh, out of the last 12 playoff games that I have tracked down, he's only not hit this number 3 times. And in those 3 times, it was standing at 195, 182, and 177. I think this is going to be a competitive game. I think they're going to have to get it done through the air, which obviously he's going to have to be the one that's leading the way. So he's got the weapons. He's definitely capable of hitting this number. Like I said, this is their path to victory. Get the passing game going. I've already explained to you why I like this, because I think they're going to have to come out. If they put the Eagles in a bad spot and take away the run game, which you do that by scoring, in my opinion, if the run game yourself is not working, then you're going to have to move the ball. You don't necessarily have to bomb it downfield, but you can consistently move the ball downfield, and they do know how to do that. So I think that this is something that he can definitely do, and I think he's going to do. It may take a little bit, but I think he's going to get there, or it may be something that he could do before half. Who knows? Either way, 200 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 1 reception. Listen, the man is on the retirement end of his career. This may be last game. I have no idea. But for you to acquire him during the season, get all the way to the Super Bowl with him, and then shit on him in that game to where he doesn't get one pass caught is I honestly think that you're getting plus odds, I believe right now, for over 1.5 catch. That to me is screaming out, take a flyer on it. I do think that he gets 2 catches in this game. I like DeAndre Hopkins to get at least 1. So I just need Hopkins 1 catch. Saquon Barkley, we'll go to the other side of the ball. Saquon Barkley, 1 reception. This is a game that sometimes the unexpected, I think, can happen. And obviously, it's not too unexpected for Saquon to be involved in the running game, let's be honest, and the passing game. So for him to get 1 reception, that's minimal. Even if it goes for negative yards, with him, he may get 3 catches for negative yards. That's kind of the shit that happens sometimes. So I don't like the yards, even though I think he's going to be a factor in the passing game. I think he's going to have probably, I'm going to say he's going to have over 20 receiving yards myself. I think that's what I see coming out of this game, because I think they're going to try and slow him down through the on the run. And I think that he's going to have to be a factor somewhere. Let's just put it like this. If they are able to slow him down in the run game, they're going to figure out a way to get him the ball. Yes. Plain and simple. Whether it's continually running or it's going to be passing and dumping off, they're going to figure out a way to get him the ball. You have to. It's your method to victory. Otherwise, somebody's going to have to really, really step up. Okay? And last piece, Goddard, 17 receiving yards. This is his minimal. You cannot go below 17 receiving yards for Goddard. The Kansas City Chiefs are not great against tight ends, and Goddard is going to have to be a piece of this offense. He's the piece that's going to have to step up, to be quite honest with you. I almost went the receptions. Getting him for 2 receptions, I believe, would have given me – actually, it was way worse. If I would have taken that, I think I barely would have cracked the plus 100s. But we went just a little bit heavier, and we went to 17 receiving yards. I like this parlay. I probably am going to kick myself in the nuts and want to use my balls as a speed bag when I do not put more money on this thing than what I have right now. Yeah, I think life's been doing it anyway, so I might as well join in. But anyway, this is my parlay. This is what I'm going with on the Your Way Challenge. I'll turn it over to Josh right now. This is what I've got in. These are my most confident ones. But if I'm going a single pick, I gotta say I definitely love DeAndre Hopkins to get 2 receptions. I really do like that bet. Yeah. I'm gonna actually check it out and see what it is, because I think it's over 1.5 right now. And it's the last time I checked, you're going to get close to plus odds, and I do like it. I think he gets 2 catches in this one, at least 4 targets. So we'll see what we get. But Josh, I'll let you take it away for now. What do you got?
No, man, that parlay is legit. It's probably those are all good numbers. I mean, it should hit. We all think whatever all legs we pick, like, oh, that sounds great until a game actually happens. But that one is actually very, very good. Again, you're plus 109. You can't beat that. It's all low numbers. DeAndre Hopkins should get 3-4 targets, 1 catch. Come on. Goddard, the numbers on Goddard, from what I've been seeing it, they're saying like 35, 40 yards. So 17 yards, yeah. Because he takes catches, a 4-yard catch and turns into 20 yards. And the Chiefs
Mm-hmm.
gave up the most receiving yards to tight ends this year. That's great. Barkley, same thing, 1 catch. Yeah, can see that happening. And Mahomes, 200 yards, it's going to have to happen. I know 2 years ago, he only got 182, but
yeah,
different year, different team. They were able to run the ball 32 times that game. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to run the ball 32 times this game. They might get 20 or 20 to 25. They're not getting 32 because it's not going to be effective.
I mean, if Mahomes carries it 10,
well, yeah, if he carries it 10, then look at the 30 because it's going to be 10 for Hunt, 6 to 8 for Pacheco. They're going to give Worthy at least 1, if not 2 carries. So, yeah, he's going to throw the ball. He threw it 27 times last Super Bowl against the Eagles. Last year against the Niners, he threw it 46. So, yeah, he's going to get 200
I like
yards
the numbers.
passing. Yeah, I do.
I think they're all doable. I think they're all doable things for what has to happen in this game. The one thing, every single time it's the one thing that you're like, oh, I'm so positive it's going to happen. Why?
Yeah,
it'll be like the Mahomes 200 passing yards or Goddard 17 receiving yards. It's kind of sometimes the way it goes where it's like, oh, it's so obvious he has to get it, and then 199.
Right. One would think, yeah, one right. So I put some in the underdog.
What do you? Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I had some bonus bets that I had to use because they expired. So I went early. Usually I don't like picking stuff early, but they were bonus bets and no sweat bets that I wanted to use. So the one I put in that I really am confident in, and I got phenomenal odds on it. So I got the Kelsey over 39.5 yards, Pirine at 4.5 yards, Mahomes 176, which is discounted from 251. So I'm getting the same odds for 176 that as 251. That's a free bet to me. One that makes sense. So I got those 4 legs in, and then AJ Brown at 4 catches, which I think is very, very doable. He's going to have to get there for the Eagles to win, in my opinion, because both these teams are going to run 65 plays. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
means Hurts throws it at least 30 times. I have another parlay where I have Hurts at over 23.5 attempts, which I think is just money. He's going to throw the ball 25 times. He's going to have to. Even if Saquon busts out, a 60-yard touchdown, he's still going to throw the ball because they're going to score points.
Unless the run is so successful that they just keep pounding it and pounding it.
Yeah, but honestly, that was happening before. Think about this. So last week or 2 weeks ago, against the Commanders, they were up by a lot going in the second half. So I'm thinking, okay, they're just going to run the ball. No, they came in the second half, and Hurts was throwing it. And I had Hurts in a parlay in that game, which I ended up winning. I had him under 29.5 pass attempts. He got 29. So I see him throwing the ball enough to hit the 23.5 attempts anyway. And that means
they're looking at the game, unless they were looking at the last game as, hey, look, here's what we can do. We can pass in this because if we can manage to move the ball quickly down the field and put more pressure on a rookie quarterback, then he's going to possibly feel flustered, where it may be the opposite. And I just want to caution, this is where I would throw like the devil's advocate thing, just for the simple fact that if they come in and they're saying to themselves, we can't, we trust you to throw it, but that's not going to be our method to success here. We're going to have to keep Mahomes off the field. That's going to be the main thing that we have to do. And in order to do that, we don't want to move the ball fast. So it may be one of those total opposite things. If they can get the run established that may be the method that they continue on and just continue pounding until they are later on in the game. It could work the complete opposite. You wear them down early and then you pass on them in the second half.
Well, that's kind of what they did against the Commanders. That's literally what they did. And remember, against the Commanders, Hurts had a quote unquote knee injury. Didn't know how much he's going to run. He had a long run called back by a holding penalty, and then he threw the ball a lot in the third quarter to put the game away, if you will. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah. Now, they still scored 7 rushing touchdowns, so he threw it a lot. They still scored 7 rushing touchdowns. So yeah, I see them still throwing the ball a lot. In A.J. Brown, 4 catches. That's doable. And look at the payout. I usually don't like plus 300 odds. It's not what I'm going for usually. But again, Mahomes is discounted. I like his number at 176. That's doable, very doable. So, I mean, it's $27 to pay 167. So I figured, fuck it, go for it, see what happens. They're all pretty low numbers.
No, I do like it.
And Ryan,
I do like it.
Yeah, and with the Ryan thing, look what the Chiefs did against the Bills. I mean, at the end of the game, when they're trying to ice the game and get their first down, it wasn't Pacheco running the ball. It wasn't Hunt. They threw 2 passes to Ryan. And in 2-minute offense, at the end of the first half, if the Chiefs had the ball, or the end of the game, they need catches out of the, or an option to catch the ball. They're not using Pacheco to catch the ball. They're not using Hunt. They're using Ryan. And again, I think both teams are going to run over 60 plays. That's usually what happens in any NFL game. So you're talking 60 plays, man. Ryan, if he gets out there for 5 plays, he can catch 1 pass and get 5 yards. He's done it.
Yeah.
Actually, the Chiefs do a better job at setting up their running backs to get yards after the catch when they throw little quick screens. Because the screen passes nowadays aren't the screen passes they were 10 years ago, where they literally set them up, you blitz, toss it over the defensive lineman's head. They just run the running back on a little wheel route and toss it to him. It's not necessarily even a screen pass anymore like it used to be with Marshall Faulk or LT, or even with Barkley with the Giants anymore. 6-7 years ago, 5 years ago, they don't do it the same way. So I feel really confident in that one. That's probably my favorite parlay I have in so far. Pretty excited about that one. Hopefully it hits. Fingers crossed.
What's you got another one too, don't you?
I do. I got a couple more, but we'll go. My other favorite one is this one. Yep, Hollywood Brown, man, over 30 yards, 29.5, whatever. Mahomes over 19.5 and Barkley over 99.5 yards receiving and rushing. Against the Bills, I was surprised early in that game. They really made Hollywood Brown a focal point of the offense. I think he had 3 or 4 targets on their first 2 drives, and he caught some passes. And one thing they're not doing, though, is the deep ball. Hollywood and Xavier Worthy can both run the deep routes. Post, 9 route, go route, whatever you want them to do. They have not had that part in their offense. I think they're going to surprise teams because when you get to the Super Bowl, you're bringing out all the tricks. And I think they're going to send one of them deep. And believe it, I think Hollywood Brown, he's going to get that in 1 catch. He's going to have 1 catch that's going to get 30 yards. It's going to happen. They're going to scheme him open. He's going to get it. To me, it's a great pick. Mahomes, 20 yards rushing. That dude in the playoffs, his rushing numbers double in the playoffs from his regular season stats every single year. Because he drops back, realizes, oh, nobody's open, so I'll just take off. So 20 yards rushing is super low. And then Barkley, 99.5 receiving plus rushing yards. To me, that's a no-brainer. We discussed earlier, McCaffrey had 80 yards rushing, 80 yards receiving last year. We both agree Barkley is a better running back, not knocking McCaffrey. He's awesome too. He's not Barkley, though. So for him to get 100 total yards is a no-brainer to me, and that's a good payout. 25 to 55. I mean, you're doubling your money there.
Double
Again,
up. Yeah.
no-brainer.
I like double ups.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Double up.
Yeah. I mean, that's I wanted to look real quick though. I should have done this while you were talking, but I was going to look real quick because again, when you're talking about single bets, and I know I get stuck on it, but I don't see there's no injury. There's nothing injury wise of why Hopkins really has not been involved very much in these games. And I mean, he is averaging 3.5 catches per game. That's his
I know.
average.
Yeah, so one catch. I'm going to use that
Two
myself
is
probably.
two is plus 119.
Yeah.
2 catches.
I know, dude. Yeah.
There's your double. There's another double up right there. It's to me, it's
so the one thing I'll ask though is look at it like this. Last or against the Bills, what did he have? He had 2 catches against the Bills too, right? Didn't he?
No, I don't even know if he had 1, honestly. I think that's why it's so low. That's why I think you're getting a discount on it. I don't think he had any. Hold on.
Well, they had well, remember actually against the Bills, Juju Smith-Schuster had a great game outside of Xavier Worthy. Not a great game, but for what Juju normally does.
He did have 1 catch last game. He didn't have any against the Texans.
Okay, which is surprising. Yeah, because last game Juju didn't. I'm not saying balled out, but Juju had a couple catches. He had a 30-yard catch, so they're gonna spread it around like they always do. But DeAndre 1 catch, yeah, I wouldn't go to 2 catches.
2 catches for plus.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's there.
You're gonna if you're going 1 catch though, I think you're gonna have to go on the My Way challenge, and you're gonna have to get it. You're gonna have to team it with something else, which 1 catch, and you can team that with if you want to bump up one of these other ones. Like if you think Mahomes is gonna get 225 passing yards, you might actually get him and Hopkins at 1 catch and get plus odds. You know, I mean, it could be one of those things, honestly, because Mahomes.
I mean, this is the way I'm looking at this game with the Chiefs offense anyway. Their tree is way bigger than the Eagles. The Eagles is, it's Devontae Smith, Goddard, and then A.J. Brown, Barkley. The Chiefs is so much more broad. You got Hollywood Brown. Xavier Worthy is always going to be the one constant is Xavier Worthy and Kelsey. Those guys get the most targets. It's up to you in your research and what you guys want to pick on how confident you feel in their numbers. And then you got to say, okay, which secondary guy is going to have the big game? Hollywood, Juju, or DeAndre Hopkins? To me, I think Hollywood, 30 yards. Again, they were definitely targeting him heavily early in the Bills game. So I think they're going to do the same thing. Again, Worthy's going to get his. Name me the last time Juju Smith-Schuster had awesome back-to-back games. And I'm not saying the last game for him was awesome, but he made some plays that they needed.
I don't even know where the fuck Juju Schuster has come from here in the last 3 weeks.
Was he on the Patriots?
Well, it's baffling to me that all of a sudden you have DeAndre Hopkins. I know he's old, but he's not bad. He's still a better. You can't tell me he's not a better receiver than Schuster.
I agree with that.
But you're pulling out Schuster. I mean, like, is he now moved ahead of Hopkins? I don't know why the hell you would do that.
I agree, but again, maybe it is because of that. Hopkins is old, he's got bad knees. He's only playing
as fast. He's definitely not as fast.
No. And he's only playing 35% of this.
Look at Kelsey.
Well, I know that, but Kelsey's playing still 70% of the snaps. Hop's playing 35 to 40% of the snaps. But
no, but what I'm saying is, if Kelsey's ass can get open,
oh yeah, no, yeah. They'll get in that again. The Chiefs use everybody. The Eagles use a select few. That's how they roll. But I still think they're all viable. Again, if it's whatever you feel, you as a listener feel who's going to go off. I like Hollywood. I'm sticking my best to Hollywood, Xavier Worthy, and D-Hop. I'm not touching Juju, not touching Noah Gray. I'm not touching Justin Watson. Yeah, you'll get great odds on their numbers. It's not something I want to dive into. I try to stick to the studs. Yeah, D-Hop's not a stud anymore, but for one catch, I'll put that in. Definitely.
yeah, I definitely like it. But who knows?
Yeah.
That might be the one thing. Like I said, we're also, oh, it's gonna happen. This is definite. It's how can it not? How can it not? And then it doesn't. Right. So we will see.
He'll catch 10 he'll catch 10 passes for 150 yards.
Yeah, yeah. It's either going to go one of two ways. It's like, man, damn it. Now that's why Vegas put it at plus 119, because it was guaranteed never to happen. They just wanted to entice you enough to get you to bet on it. But
that's true.
It could be one of those things where you come off looking like a genius because you just picked D-Hop, who averages 3.5 or 3.2 catches a game, to get 2 catches. Do the math. Well, this is the kind of shit that I'm telling you.
Well, against the Bills, though, he had a catch that got called back, though. So he did he had his 2 catches, but it got called back on penalty. And it was like a 25-yarder, too. So,
again, it would have given me my yards. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. Trust me, I remember. Yep. So that's basically what we got going on now. I mean, let's watch this game and can't wait. Let's ball out and win some fucking money in the last football game of the year. Again, do your research, like and subscribe. We try giving you all the information that we have that we can come up with, all the stats, numbers. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, but we're going to ball out too. We got money on the game. It's going to be, butthole puckered. Let's win some fucking money because I got a lot more riding on this game than I thought I would. But, it's the last football game of the year and been doing well so far this year. Let's keep it going.
Hell yeah. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with some more, like I said, putting in some lives, hopefully, on the games. Hopefully I don't shit the bed on Saturday. I'll have some more coming up with the MMA. We'll get out some more bets. We got bets in already on those. So that video is coming. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon. Peace.
See ya.